What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about why American homes are such bad quality compared to European homes. So this is actually something that I have heard about time and time again on the internet, that American homes really suck and that they're very poor quality. And, well, I actually live in a pretty typical American house, and I'd actually say I'm pretty happy with this. I think it gets the job done, but maybe I don't really understand what I'm missing out on in terms of a really good quality house. I don't know, but today I want to take a look at this video by Cheddar and really try to understand why American homes are considered to be so much worse than European homes. So let's take a look.
You can hear conversations through the walls, footsteps up the stairs,
Yeah.
banging pots in the kitchen when you're across the house.
What? Yeah. This is just normal. This is what? Is this weird? This is normal. This is like any house that I grew up in or anybody's house I've been to. In my house, you can hear things through the walls. You can hear people, like, I don't know, pretty far away in the house. For me, that's like very normal. Is that not supposed to be normal? Because it is such a common, like, I wouldn't even think about it. Of course you can hear people talking and making noise through the house. What?
That's just life in most American homes.
What?
Walls are thin and the opposite of soundproof, and something always needs to be fixed. And most homes aren't even that old.
I mean, yeah. Oh, God. This is, I've never really thought about it. I think, like most Americans, hearing things throughout the house, thin walls, stuff breaking in the house, that's just kind of normal. That's just expected. I never considered that maybe that shouldn't be normal. Oh boy.
There should be no excuse that they're falling apart. But why are they like this, especially when other areas have sturdy, thick houses that last hundreds and hundreds of years?
Hundreds of years? Hundreds of years? Like, I know here in the United States, if you have a house that's over 20 years old, that's when a lot of stuff starts breaking down and going wrong, and you got to get the furnace replaced and the water heater, and you get cracks by the doors and water damage, and you got to replace the roof. And yeah, that happens every like 10 or 20 years for a lot of American houses. That's very normal. That's expected. I'm starting to think now, hearing this, that we are getting gypped. Like, are American houses just that flimsy? Because I just thought that was normal wear and tear, just the normal course of owning a home. But this is already saying that some European houses last very well for like 100 years? Is that right?
The answer isn't just capitalism, so don't click off the video just yet.
It's actually a lot more complex, and the solution isn't easy.
Really? Right, because I guess if you think about it, maybe we're just talking about the build quality, and more specifically the materials that are used to build American houses. I guess they are cheaper, and our houses are not as well constructed, and the materials aren't as robust and strong, and that's not a good thing to think about, because you have to pay a lot of money for a house, and you want it to be really good quality. I just think here in America, we have accepted the way that our houses are. Um, and I would have guessed it's to save money on building materials and construction, just to save money for home builders. But it sounds like that's not actually the only reason for poor quality American houses.
If you're looking for one quick thing to blame, you can look towards George Washington's snow.
In
What?
1832, the civil engineer was tasked with building a Chicago warehouse as quickly as possible from the local softwood.
George Washington Snow? I've never heard of this guy. This is some American from 1832. He's the reason we have bad home building quality? This guy? This is the reason?
So he got creative. Snow used 2x4s to assemble hollow walls, several stories high. The method let individual workers handle assembly, leaving only one person to nail it all into place. Snow completed the warehouse
Okay.
in record time. The method was called balloon framing.
I didn't know that that kind of framing was abnormal. I thought everybody did it that way. I thought everywhere all over the world builds houses like we build houses by assembling pieces of wood into a frame and having a lot of it be hollow. Is that actually not normal?
And it became the construction method of choice in Chicago. But
Right.
balloon framing didn't take off until the 1940s, when America was experiencing a post-war boom period.
Right.
More Americans had money than ever before, and they wanted the American dream, a house. They could
Right.
suddenly afford to buy homes in sprawling new suburbs, and contractors knew they could make a killing if they could produce enough homes to satisfy the demand.
It is about saving money. It is about capitalism and cutting corners because they wanted to sell as many houses as possible and build them as quickly as possible. And you can't do that without giving up quality. You gotta be kidding me. Because I thought the way that we construct American houses, like the actual way that we do it, was how everybody did it. So it's not just the material that is different here in America. It's actually how we construct the foundation and the walls and everything. Oh my God.
Balloon framing and its successor, platform framing, allowed contractors to frame houses basically overnight.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just thought this is how you build houses. I didn't know it had a name. Balloon framing? So are we saying in European houses the walls are a lot more dense? Like there's actually a lot more material in the wall? Because, yeah, in American houses, it's like a couple pieces of wood to make a square, a couple of pieces of wood in between, and then mostly just drywall and insulation and stuff like that. Nothing actually very solid.
But there was something unique about balloon framing that made it only feasible in certain countries, like the US and Canada, and not in Europe.
Huh?
Balloon framing requires a massive quantity of long, mature trees.
And America had an abundance of super tall, mature trees.
No way.
Plus, it was an easy and cheap construction material for the newly growing suburbs.
No way. It's like the perfect storm. All of these things had to happen for American houses to be crappy and cheap. Oh no, I had no idea about this. Because I have heard this like many times on the internet with jokes and articles like American houses are so cheap and flimsy and they'll fall apart. And I always thought it was kind of an exaggeration because obviously we live in these houses and for a lot of the time it's fine. It gets the job done. But I think our standard of quality is so low, we really shouldn't. We should be unhappy with this, but we're not. We've just kind of accepted this as normal.
Wood is sturdy, yet flexible enough to withstand low-intensity earthquakes and tornadoes. If you want to hear about all of wood's good qualities, check out our video on the subject here.
So even the type of trees in America also contributed to this style of quick, easy, sort of cutting corners, low quality house framing.
In Europe, wood is still incredibly expensive because so few forests remain. And what they do have is heavily protected. So the average European home is built with brick, stone, or concrete. And
Oh, is that a big difference? Houses in Europe use more stone and concrete. I thought it was like a different type of wood, or like a better quality wood, or more wood. That's not even it. In America, we have a lot of forests and trees, so our houses are majority wood. In Europe, it sounds like it's majority stone and concrete and dense building materials, because you don't even have, the wood is so expensive in Europe, and that's actually a good thing. You know, maybe the houses are more expensive, and it probably takes a lot longer to build the houses in Europe, but you end up with a much higher quality house that lasts a lot longer. So I think that is absolutely the better way to do it.
they're many centuries old. These materials can be sturdier and safer than wood. A concrete masonry wall has a, shocker, higher fire insulation property rating compared to a wooden frame wall. One of these concrete walls has a fire rating of around 4 hours till it's destroyed, as compared to a wooden framed wall, which only has a rating of around an hour.
And of course, making houses out of stone versus wood makes all the difference. It sounds like houses in Europe are much more resistant to fire, much more sturdy, you know, probably don't need to be rebuilt and maintained as often. There's just, oh no.
Insurance carriers also have long-term data suggesting that homes constructed of brick are less likely to be destroyed by natural hazards.
Of course.
And if saving money is your game, the U.S. Department of Energy estimates that you could save $340 a month or over $4,000 a year on heating and cooling if you live in a brick house over a wood one.
Now, don't get me wrong. We do use brick in a lot of our houses in America, but you actually find a lot of houses here will be partially brick, like just one floor or half of the house is brick, and then the top is wood or whatever. It's very rare to find a house that is totally stone and brick. That's very rare. That would be expensive. But it sounds like for so many reasons it's worth it, because if you use better materials and you take your time and build a good house, it's got better quality, better insulation. You're actually saving money on heating and air conditioning, which is very, very common in America to use.
It's estimated that losses from wildfires have added up to $5.1 billion over the past 10 years, a number made even more bloated by all the wood-framed houses.
Yeah, see this is very representative of how American houses are built, with hollow frames made of wood, just like this. This is most American houses right here, like this.
Houses.
Now, to be clear, wood isn't necessarily a bad building material.
I mean, take a look at the Fairbanks house in Dedham, Massachusetts.
See?
It's been standing since 1637. But in general, wood is harder to maintain. In fact, without maintenance, many houses won't make it to 30 years.
Yeah, like even my house has damage. Like the wood over time just rots. You know, water gets in, it cracks. Wood is cheap and versatile, but it doesn't last like stone.
And to many Americans, that's just the right amount of time.
The U.S. Census says that the average American moves houses 11 times in their lifetime.
Oh my God.
That figure across 16 European countries? About 4 times.
So Americans actually move more often. probably to leave their house before it, rots, or when enough damage is accumulated, Americans just sell the house to somebody else to deal with it.
Since Americans are constantly moving their homes, they don't need them to last as long. They expect a semi-new home wherever they go because with the increased owner turnover, regular maintenance isn't normally done. It's easier just to rip it down and start over fresh.
I mean, that would be very, very expensive, but it is definitely very sad when it is cheaper to just tear down a house and build it again than to just maintain it and repair it. That is not how houses should work. That's a very bad sign that we do that.
Americans wanted cheap homes to fulfill their dreams of home ownership after World War II.
Yeah.
But the tricks that contractors used to make that happen have made it easy for us to view homes as disposable and unworthy of repair.
Yeah. It's really a terrible mindset to have. And to be honest, I think a lot of Americans don't even realize this is a problem. Like, most Americans have no idea that in Europe, you guys do houses a different way and use much better materials. Like, I didn't even know how big of a problem this was, or how ridiculous it is that we do it in America like this. Until hearing all this.
So I suppose you can really just blame it on trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh boy. Wow. That was a very good video. I did not enjoy the information that I got, but it's very, very important information. Because this is not a good look. Again, I've heard about this on the internet. I never really bothered to learn about why American homes have this typecast, this stereotype of being bad. And it turns out it's true. Like, it's based on our history in the United States, trying to basically cut corners to build houses as quickly as possible. And also because wood is so available here. And it's just a bunch of little factors that have created really, really bad habits with home building. And it's like all of America is like this. This is how we build homes. It's really kind of disturbing. Now, again, it's not like we live in cardboard boxes that are about to fall down, but, it's hard to refute that clearly the way that European homes are built, especially with concrete and stone and slowly with quality, clearly that's a better way of doing it. And after this, I think the way we do it here in America is actually pretty weird. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on American homes versus European homes or anything here. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.